That's a twist. That's very twisty.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Geekly Goods. We're reviewing Detective Pikachu today. What an awesome...
That was really good. Yeah.
Used to do Pokemon impressions a lot. It was a pretty good movie.
Where's our video?
Well, I can make that.
We need to run through like Gen 1.
I could run through a good Square Now. That's a good one.
Can you we should do like shout outs, like which one do you want? Like
Yeah, which one do you guys want me to do?
Geodude.
Oh man, I can't remember how Geodude sounds.
Damn,
I'll be like
Geodude.
I can't remember. I can't remember what he sounds like.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Like if you do one of the main ones, like Charmander, I can do Charmander. That's one. Bulbasaur. I can't really do Bulbasaur. Let's see. Which one's kind of? I'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah. All right. Stay tuned.
Stick around.
We're gonna get this video together. This is happening. Yeah.
But so, should we start this with you?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Yeah.
So I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I don't care about spoilers, so spoil away.
Yeah.
But the first thing I want to know is what audience is it geared towards? Because we have Pokemon and we have Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big split.
It is.
Too.
And I'll say definitively, this is for kids.
Yes, this is a kids movie.
Yeah, it's definitely got energy in it that, could be a little bit adult at times.
There's a couple jokes.
Couple jokes that were skinny.
You're wait, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
What did you just say? Yeah.
There's even a cuss word in there. There's a damn in a
one?
Pokemon movie.
It's a D
Damn.
word. It is used. I know. It's
So dirty.
Yeah, so I was like,
oh my god.
I haven't seen a couple. There was one scene that happened in the movie that was a little bit adult, and I seen a little girl look over at a little sister
Yeah.
Don't you kind of miss that innocence?
Yeah.
I felt like we were watching like Shazam or something, and Stu and I looked at each other like, ooh, they just said a bad word.
Ooh, they just kissed.
You just went into a strip club.
Whoa.
I commend Ryan Reynolds for sticking it to that age group.
Yeah, it was kind of impressive actually. Especially when we're used to Deadpool, and not just Deadpool, but Van Wilder, all his comedy classic is very R-rated.
Very vulgar.
So, and even his serious roles are all very adult.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to bring it all the way back, and I'm not gonna say that Pikachu was a kid, because he wasn't a kid. He was very
He's so cute.
He's so cute.
So
Oh my
cute.
god,
Cute.
they played it up in that movie too. He was as cute as possible.
Oh no.
But it was
but
yeah, and
Yeah,
Ryan
they're
Reynolds
adorable,
stepped
for
it
sure.
up and did a nice little switch gear. I was happy for it.
Yeah, it was a great gear switch, but apparently there were enough outtakes that they could make a rated R version of this Pokemon movie.
I would
because
really love it.
I could totally see Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu just being like Pika Pika.
Yeah.
Hold on, retake.
I remember many of us were rooting for one F-bomb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was rooting for one, but at the
But
same
you know
time,
what?
seeing that, I'm glad it's for the kids.
Me too. What I would really love to see is almost a reverse Deadpool, or Deadpool 2, really, where they release that PG-13 Christmas version. If they release an R-rated, Thanksgiving version of Detective Pikachu, I'm in the theater. 100%. Because it's just the humor would be so different. The movie wouldn't really change, but the tone of it really would.
Yeah.
There's some spots they could take it to a dark place. And I'm kind of interested in that.
Pikachu dropping an F-bomb. Could you ever imagine that?
Or a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Several F-bombs.
Damn, Pikachu!
Oh, Pika.
Okay, so my next question is, what was your favorite part? Your favorite thing about the movie?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. You know what? I have to say the Pokemon design. Yeah, I know, right? So
I can tell that from the trailer.
it doesn't disappoint. It's one of those things where it's especially when we see something like Sonic come out, and there's that trailer where it's just awful.
Hot garbage.
It's just terrible.
He's not even wearing goggles.
God,
Wearing goggles.
that's an inside joke. So it's one of those things where it's like when you see a big part of your childhood and a lot of people's childhood actually brought to screen the correct way.
Sorry, just thinking about
I know,
it.
the goggles. We just gotta take a
I
second.
know, I'm sorry.
You're a purist, it's fine. But they were all adorable. They were super cute. They got the sounds right. Like
That's important. I didn't think about that.
that was a big thing.
Which is
He talks,
crazy.
but they don't all, do they?
No,
He's the only one.
that
Okay.
talks. So it's this really cool blend of like, oh wow, this is really, you're diving into your childhood.
Yeah, and they all look the correct color for their environments.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
look real. There's a lot of them. There are several scenes where they're like walking through the city and you just see like Pokemon just filing through and doing their thing. Like there's a Machoke or a Machamp at a traffic stop directing people because a Snorlax is asleep in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Shenanigans.
characteristic
Yeah, there's
of
Pokemon
Pokemon. Yeah, there's
shenanigans.
shenanigans. Like
And I will also say they did a good job creating a world
Yes.
that is not part of the video games. Not that it's not connected, but like this isn't based off of one of the video games.
no.
Well, so that
we
was
get some
gonna be-
Easter eggs too.
That was gonna be one of my
Yeah.
questions. Like, my first game ever was like Pokemon Yellow. I like Pokemon. I'm familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
How much do I need to know to enjoy this movie? Can I go into it not knowing that much?
Maybe like Gen 1 Pokemon and you're okay, to be
Really?
honest with you. I mean, there are some Pokemon sprinkled, a lot of them sprinkled in from other generations, but they're made so well and they look so good and they actually say their name. So it's like, you figure out everything as you go. I mean, honestly, even if you haven't really seen Pokemon, most people know Pikachu.
Yeah.
They can get with this movie with that knowledge alone, and then you see the rest of the Pokemon, and it's like marvelous. It's like, oh my god. And the story is so self-contained. Like there's spoilers. There's no Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
There's no like
Which is
Misty
nice.
Brock.
I can't-
There's
I'm
not
not
heavy
excited about
references. Yeah, like and I was cool with it. There's some there was the Savari Zone theme
Yep.
popped up in there.
Yep.
Nice.
There are a couple other themes that like appear in the movie, so I was cool for that. There's a scene where Pikachu is like super upset about something that happened, and he's like singing the Pokemon theme.
It was-
like
oh my
that was
God.
absolutely adorable and hilarious.
Yeah.
I kind of need that, like, in
Ryan
a
Reynolds
video
singing
right
Pokemon.
now.
So I will say, like, I think you even need to know less.
Really?
You could probably go into this movie knowing next to nothing about Pokemon other than like generally what they are, and you'll be fine. You'll
Okay.
enjoy this movie. You'll really like it. What I will say is, the more you know, the more Easter eggs and little jokes and little things
Yeah,
on the
that you
side,
get.
like little references, you'll really enjoy that stuff too. So this is gonna be really cool because kids are gonna go into this loving it, and their parents are gonna be like, I don't know what this is about at all, and they're gonna walk out of the movie being like, well, that was pretty good.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're gonna have a good time with it too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I would say my favorite part of the movie was just that the kind of ending montage because it was so unpredictable. Like for
Yeah.
a kids movie, at this point we can kind of dial it up and figure out what's going on. I had no idea what the villain was actually doing.
Oh,
Right.
And I
There's a
knew he
certain
was a
point.
villain from the start, but there's a certain point where it was just like, holy shit, this plan that he concocted, I had no
pretty
idea
good.
what he was going for.
There's a couple little twists and turns, a couple
Yeah.
things where you're like, oh, wait a second. Oh, I didn't expect
It
that.
stumped
Like,
me a little bit.
It actually reminds me a lot of kids' movies from like the late 80s, early 90s. Something like The Goonies or things like that, where
Yeah,
they don't
for sure.
they don't really pull punches. Like they're not treating kids like idiots,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of kids' movies seems to do that. They're like, well, they wouldn't understand this. And it's
Ugly
like,
dolls and shit.
yeah. Oh man, don't get me started. No, but it's one of those things where it's like they treated kids with enough respect to know that like they can follow a story
Mm-hmm.
and know that a bad guy's a bad guy at the end of the day and a good guy's a good guy. So it's nice. It's a little complicated
I feel
in
like
the
that
right way.
makes it appealing to a much larger audience
100%.
rather than just
Absolutely.
like super young people.
Yeah, and
This-
if you're a diehard Pokemon fan,
Oh, man.
you'll get a hell of a kick out of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, even just as a fan of Pokemon Yellow, I think you would really like it. I mean, Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith, the two main characters,
Great
in the movie,
chemistry.
get together so well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
The chemistry's hilarious across the board, and man, I feel like every time Detective Pikachu's on the screen, I'm gonna chuckle at least once. Like
Aw.
this,
Yeah, with
this
that
was
stuff.
fun.
There
and
were some
funny.
like straight up laughs.
yeah.
And which I was like hoping for but not expecting, just because I was like, this is probably a kids movie. Like, I'm going to go in with tempered expectations.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I'm a hard person to please on jokes and things like that. I'm not an easy mark. I know. And, this actually was really enjoyable. Front to back. There were maybe 1 or 2 points where I was like, well, that slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, wait, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Were there any points of contention? Were there things you would have liked to see different?
Yes, more battles. I wanted way more battles, like a couple more Pokemon one-on-ones, and Chris, our buddy, actually brought up a really good point. I would have loved to see the trainers interacting with the Pokemon in those battles, because it kind of just came down to Pokemon on Pokemon, and I didn't know what move they were using, and that comes from knowing Pokemon. If you're somebody that doesn't know Pokemon through and through, you might be cool. I mean, you're gonna be cool with that, you know what I mean? But
but it doesn't function like it does when I'm playing it and I'm giving them oh, you're gonna do this.
Yeah, trainers weren't really commanding.
So here's what I'll say: they also don't. So this is based off Detective Pikachu the game, which doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's any battles in it. So in a weird way, it almost fits, and they almost made a really good choice of, we're just not going to do the battle thing at all, because in a weird way, I would have loved to see more of it, but at the same time, I feel like it's a mechanic that could have slowed it down. Now, they hinted at a lot of it, and they said, they kind of danced around the subject of it, and it kind of plays into the finale a little bit.
But I would have just
I would have liked to see more.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do we have battles? How many battles do we have?
Yeah,
there are a few.
Okay.
There's enough to satisfy.
Okay.
But I will say also, they're not your traditional, two trainers step into an arena, throw your first Pokeball.
In the trailer,
out.
I did see an arena and then Pikachu being oh so adorable, curled up in a little ball.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
Also, one thing I didn't see in the movie was it seemed that everybody had one Pokemon partner. There didn't seem to be a big emphasis on carrying 7 or having multiple or collecting a lot. There was just one. Most of the trainers had one, maybe, a couple more, but they had that just one Pokemon. You know how Ash is with his Pikachu. They had that one Pokemon following them around, which was absolutely adorable.
I was going to say, do you think that worked?
Yes.
It worked really well. And especially for the first Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
I'm not, there's the animated movies and all that, but the first, American live action movie, it's actually a really smart decision, because if everybody had, the belt
of training stuff,
and they're just they're throwing different Pokemon out, it's kind of wait, whoa, this is a lot.
That's also expensive.
But they could not have put more.
They
couldn't have put more Pokemon in this movie.
Oh, really?
It was stuffed to the gills.
Good.
I mean, all the background shots, they're walking around.
I don't think there's a scene there where there isn't a Pokemon.
There's not. I mean, it's literally dialogue. There's Pokemon in the background, the opening.
Cubone.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Such a great.
It's a great scene.
So cute.
The another thing I wasn't something I was missing a little bit was. Okay, this is pretty nitpicky, but the connection to the larger world.
Yeah. For sure.
And this is the only reason this is probably I'm having a real issue with, because I really like the movie. I want more, immediately. As soon as I walked out of that movie, I was like, I want another Pokemon.
Yeah.
Let's go. And so there was a couple little references to a couple of the cities, a couple other things like that. But there wasn't really this larger connection.
Yeah, so it stayed very tight-knit in the community.
I was hoping for even a post-credit scene.
I know.
Sorry, spoiler, but no post-credit on this one.
And it seemed like they just buttoned it up at the end. Look, you can do Pokemon too, but it might not be Detective Pikachu. That kind of button that story closed.
But do you think that's an inherently a bad thing?
No.
But I feel like there's room for so much more. They kind of almost reset Pokemon a little bit in that, that it's real, it's live action. I want to see more of that.
You don't want this to be the only one because it was good.
And to be honest, there's no way this is the only Pokemon movie.
I mean, probably
because based on the response in that theater of kids who were about 6 or 7 and parents who were about 50 to 60, across the board, it was positive. I don't think anyone's walking into that theater being like, "Oh, I don't know about that movie," blah, blah, blah. Like, this is gonna do really
Everyone
well.
critics
enjoyed
are
it.
kinda
It was basically
shaking on
Shazam
it,
minus
whatever.
us.
No,
Shazam was actually fun and funny, guys. Okay?
that's fine. But everything that I had, if you watch the Shazam review, you know my stance on this. But everything I had a problem with Shazam, in terms of like the writing, the storytelling, the characters, all
It's
that.
made up here.
It's really done well in Detective Pikachu, and this is actually a masterclass on how to create a character who's immediately, you know everything about him, he's likable,
Super likable.
but a little bit complicated, a little bit deep, and then taking him on a journey in a story and not complicating it overly, and like just telling a story and just sticking to that.
So I'm gonna overcomplicate things a little bit.
Okay.
Here. There were a couple of complaints that I did have though. There's a certain point in the pacing where I was just kind of like, man, like, what's gonna happen? Like, listen, the adventure is fun, but like, give me a little bit more dynamics in there. Like, some of the space could have been filled with some battling, like a little bit more exploration of these characters.
A lot of things came very
Lots of
easily.
kind of traveling,
Okay.
Lord of the Rings feel, walking across fields. And
But
stuff.
I will
Felt like
say,
a little bit
again,
more
that's
depth.
really true to Pokemon. Like, that's what you're doing in the game.
Yeah, a couple. No, I'm battling, dog.
No, but 90% of that game is walking through a field.
I
mean, it's
know,
true.
but you know,
I'm just
walking
saying,
through
like-
the field and stumbling upon a wild Pidgey, battling to catch
So
it.
did you mind the pacing, or were you okay with it?
I was okay with it, but I do know what you're saying. There was a couple
There's some
moments,
dips.
and it's yeah.
It's gonna
like I
happen.
said, this movie isn't gonna win any awards. Like, we're not looking
It's
at
fun.
Detective Pikachu at the Oscars, although that would be freaking adorable.
That'd be really, really
Yeah.
cute. Can you picture him like, oh,
Little
no, I'm
Oscar
gonna cry if I
as big
keep
as he
going.
Can I just say, for like the first 20-ish minutes, I was just like, oh my god, oh,
Yeah,
like
you're
and all the
geeking
little
out.
Pokemon that are
Looks
coming
like a
up.
fluffy cat.
Yeah, I mean, they're
And I
so
will say,
adorable
the
looking.
last 20 minutes are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like, you geek out for the bookends of the movie. And it kind of does a little bit of dip right in the center, but at the same time, yeah,
A little
it
bit of
was-
back and forth
It
in the
was
story,
fine.
too. A
It
little
was
bit.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I know what you're saying, but it didn't really bother me, and I guarantee you it's not going to bother your 6-year-old niece or nephew. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
yeah,
they're
no,
never gonna know.
them no, but me personally, I would have just liked a little less back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, some time, a little bit of time was wasted with.
Okay.
This character's dead. Actually, he's not. Actually, maybe he is. Actually, he's not. A little
Yeah.
bit too much back and forth there, but. Other than that, not a lot of complaints. I mean, the Pokemon looked great. The music was fucking amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it mimicked a lot of the music from the game.
Yeah, they.
I love that.
Yeah, they did-
That music's really recognizable.
It really is, and honestly, they did a really good job. The music is a great example, just across the board, of balancing homage to telling a story. They didn't let fan service take over, which I was
No.
actually really happy about. One of our friends was saying like, "Oh, they should have had this character with this thing that's a reference to the show."
Yeah,
this
and
kind
I
of
was
that.
cool with that.
And I was like, I see what he's saying, because that would have been fun to see.
Yeah.
But it would have been a little distracting.
And see, what would have been a little
Yeah.
bit odd is if they here's what would be fan servicey, is bringing in like an Ash Ketchum or something, like actually having a character that's got the hat. Like, we don't need that.
It's
Yeah.
Give
I would
this
agree with
story
that.
its moment. In
I
its
haven't
time.
even seen it, but we talked about this earlier. We both like the fact that the lead is not white.
Yes.
And you touched
person
on the
of
fact,
color.
Yeah, you touched on the
Half
fact
black,
that there's an
half
interracial
Latino.
romance that takes place.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Ash
I don't
Ketchum
think a
is
white person shows up for like the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like,
Oh,
to
wow.
be honest, like, because it goes
Yeah.
Dopinder. First of all,
Yeah, Dope Hinder makes a freaking appearance,
yeah, like
man.
he got brought along. Dopinder and Justice are in it for the first bit. They have the whole thing. He goes on the train, and the first person he sees is Ken Watanabe. And after that, it's him and Pikachu, and then
Then they stumble upon the journalist girl.
yeah,
When he's in it looking for his father in the apartment.
right. So it's one of
Then
those
they-
where it's like they're into the story already, and it was like.
Very
It was-
diverse.
but
Okay.
also not overly done. It wasn't like obviously, oh, we need to make this diverse, and so everybody has to be like. It wasn't that.
It was natural.
It was naturally done. It was very easily done. It was appreciated.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
it was
yeah.
nice. It felt effortless.
Yeah.
It felt real.
That's good.
Honestly.
And it was funny to see the Pokemon matchups actually really match the personalities of
They
the
did a good
characters.
job.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
Aw.
got Ken Watanabe with like a Snubble, you know, serious Pokemon.
Very like, you know, growly face.
Yeah,
and like,
mean.
but then also like, no, on the
Cute.
inside he's cute.
Aw.
Like, Ken Watanabe's kind of like that. Like, if you saw him like sitting down, you'd be like, oh, he's grumpy. But like, he's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it was
They
cool.
matched it
Well,
perfectly.
so, so last question.
Okay.
What would you give it out of 10?
I guess a 7.5.
I was leaning
that's good.
7.5.
That's better than I
Yeah.
would. Not that this wouldn't be a fun movie, but
Right.
it can also just not be a good movie.
The rated
No.
R version, I might would give an 8. The comedy's gonna be turned up, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
true Ryan Reynolds, and I mean, who knows? In that cut, there might be some more animated pieces. We don't know, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the 7.5, it's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
They keep it tight. They do what they're supposed to do really well.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pacing and character issues through the middle.
Yeah.
Not in a big way. Nothing that like threw me out of the story. But the things where I'm like, nah, that could have been a little better. Nothing terrible. I'd say across the board, like nothing that sticks out saying like this is bad.
yeah, there was no moment in that movie where I was just like, God, turn this off, or there were no mistakes that took me out of the movie, really.
Which I will say is rare, especially lately. I feel like the last year or two of movies, you're either like Endgame and Infinity War, Black Panther, or you're the
Mortal Engines.
or Mortal Engines, yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh god, or almost any movie that I see has a moment where I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like one and see, I kind of would have felt that way if Ash showed up. Like, a piece of me would have been like, yes, but then at the same time, it would have been like, oh, that's taken away from Justice,
Right,
his
right.
character, and do we need
It was
that?
well
No,
balanced.
not really.
That's good.
Then the reveal at the end,
Woo!
holy fucking smokes.
That was pretty
Didn't
good.
see it coming for miles.
No.
If you need to spoil it, you may. This is
No.
a safe
No,
place. Okay.
let's let everybody see it.
Let's let everybody
because
enjoy
that was one thing that I just don't want to spoil. It's just
You don't let
so
me enjoy
well
that.
done.
I can
Yeah.
go with like
Yeah.
one less spoiler.
I'll even say the last third of the movie, I didn't really see going
Me
the way
neither.
it ended up doing. So,
Yeah.
like, it's not just one spoiler that's like, that's the thing you're waiting at. There's a good 20, 30 minutes of that movie where you're like, I don't really know where this is going to end up, but I'm enjoying every second of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, you know the usual. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know if you've seen Detective Pikachu or if you're planning to go see it. Because, man, this is one you should see in theaters.
Definitely.
If you're not as much of a Pokemon fan, you're still going to get what's going on. So
Yeah.
give it a shot. Let us know, and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.